polyamory is already telling you there's many loves. And from the ones that I've experienced, and I say experience meaning like maybe people that I follow on social media and stuff who are in polyamorous relationships, what it seems like to me is that there's the ability for love in multiple people. And not every relationship is the same. Like you may not even love that partner in the same way that you love the other partner.
Right.
But you love them both enough to where you need to be with the both of them.
That sounds like being codependent in a frat house.
It does, right?
I guess every relationship is different. One, I'm going to go right off the bat and go, don't knock anybody who's in one. If it works for them, then it works for them. And then they're happy with that. Then like, that's all I really care about. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Normalize This, the show where we discuss whether or not ideas, trends, and behaviors should be normalized in everyday society. My name is Adam Rippon.
And I'm Danielle Young, aka Society.
Yes, we're both members of Society, and
Yes.
It's so good that we're both here.
Giving big Society energy.
Yes, because today we are going to discuss open relationships. Crickets.
Open it on up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you and yours and all of them.
It is you, yours, and all of them. That's kind of how an open relationship, I think, works. It's a lot of all of them and you and yours.
Yes, you and yours is. But make sure that y'all stick with us because not only are we going to get up in these open relationships, we're going to keep it or curb it, our favorite game.
Yes.
Are you excited? It's like me and Adam getting to tell you what's good and what isn't.
Right. Yeah. We're bossing you around.
We're bossing you around. We're either going to drag you to the curb or we're going to keep you forever.
So, Danielle, I'm thinking...
I hear you over
gotta
there
have
thinking.
a fun fact for me.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know me. I'm always going to have a fun fact. It's you that we worry about a little bit.
I'm trying to like deflect my own worries and fears onto you because I'm panicking because I haven't thought of a fun fact yet.
Don't panic. You could think of one. Maybe even think of one theme towards the episode, which is what I like to do. Have you ever opened your relationship up? Well, no, we'll dig into that in the show.
We'll dig in, but I can tell. So I'm curious to dig in because I can tell you as a fun fact, I have never been in an open relationship.
Me neither, actually. I'm willing, but I don't think I've ever been in one myself.
Yeah, I think I'm excited. So my fun fact is I'm actually excited to talk about this because I don't think I've ever really had this conversation with somebody else about open relationships.
Well, that's not a fun fact, first of all, because of course you're excited to talk about it. Of course you're excited. If you're not excited, then hello, can we fire him today?
Right.
You better be excited.
Wait, I have a fun fact.
Yes.
I just ordered a mechanical keyboard.
What?
Okay. You know, like those keyboards, like when you're typing that make all the click sounds?
No.
Yes, you do. Like when you're like watching a movie that's from the 90s and you like walk into the office and you hear people like typing at a keyboard.
Oh,
and
yeah. Like a old school with the keys big.
So I just ordered one that like is extra, like the key clacking is extra loud.
Oh my gosh. Are you sitting anywhere near it?
No, I didn't get it yet.
Oh.
I think I'm getting it in a few days, but I'm so excited. I've been like, it's the only thing I've been able to think about.
You and your like nostalgic tech.
I love nostalgia.
It's a mix between the two worlds because I remember the Good Notes or something that you mentioned.
Yes.
Which was like notebook writing almost, but for the future on the iPad.
It's like, yeah, like I want to feel present, but I also want to be past. Does that make sense?
I do, like honestly, I think it's our generation.
It is.
Yeah, like I love the things that are happening and bringing us into the future, but God knows, please don't let us leave the past.
Right.
Like I still want to use a pen and paper.
I love pen and I love paper. And I love mechanical keyboard.
No, that's fun. A mechanical keyboard. It's like those fat back computers. Remember those?
Oh yeah, I remember those. We had one like in our living room, like when I was a child.
Yes, like I wanted one of those. It was an Apple. I think it was an Apple back then. The ones that had like the colors.
Oh yeah, those are the Apple ones.
Yeah, and the big old gigantic screen that had
yes,
the
I
curved
remember
back to it.
I remember like in our living room, and it took up I think like 50 feet, like a big old screen and a giant like tower. Do you remember like the towers would be like right next to it?
Yes,
and it had like for the discs and the CD-ROMs.
Oh my gosh, I remember because I remember like. In the times where I was going into college, laptops were becoming a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they already existed, but like in the sense of you can own your own personal laptop. Like I think that started to happen, and I was like, but no, I don't want like a fake computer. Like in my brain, it was like not real. I was like, I want a real computer. I want one that I have put on my desk. And my first computer I opted to get was a Dell, but then like it was the one with the tower and all of that.
Right.
And then
you weren't lugging that around.
Because as I was like getting into college, I was like, oh man, that laptop would have been great. I was like, oh, now I'm stuck at my desk with my desktop. The kids today, y'all will never know.
No. You won't. You'll never know, which is sad because that was really a time.
It really, truly was. Oh, youth. It's wasted on the young.
It is. It truly is. So that's my fun fact is that I order retro things in hope of feeling something.
Oh, I just want to feel something. That's so good. I love that. Okay. Let me think of a nostalgic fun fact for myself. I'm thinking about like CDs.
Yeah. Do you remember getting those CDs, like the one from like AOL all the time? It would come in the mail all the time.
That's the only way I was able to get online, really. It was to use those free hours of internet that they provided.
Is that what those were?
I think so, because like you could use your phone line, right? You had to, because this was before Ethernet. You use your phone line to connect, which means that you can't use the house phone. You pick up the house phone and it sounds like,
yeah, like that, yeah.
But you couldn't just connect to the internet just from the phone. So they had to have that extra layer of internet CD-ROM. I guess that CD-ROM. Oh my
God, yes, yeah.
And so you would use, AOL had them. I don't think any other brand or anything had them at the time, possibly like a Yahoo or something, but they would send you a CD that had a certain amount of hours. I don't know what the measurement was called, but just internet time.
Oh my God. And I think, wait, do you remember like logging into AOL just to use like the internet and get your mail?
Just to use everything.
That's so weird.
Because like the thing is, those CDs, they worked really well for people like me who like my mom wasn't paying whatever it cost extra to have the internet. So like that's why I used it. And yes, very much remembered waiting for it to log on, because I would always have to wait until nighttime when like everybody was asleep and nobody needed the phone.
Right.
And then just like be like waiting for it to log on, and it's like doing all that.
Yes. There's insane sound. Like whoever like cleared that sound to come out of the speaker. Like there's definitely like a world in which we live in that
like this.
Yeah, I don't think that was necessary. Like did the computer really lose control and go, I have to make these sounds?
I think it was the sound of it connecting, to be honest.
It's insane.
And then it was even more insane to me as like we got into the Ethernet of things, and then you needed to make sure that you had the Ethernet connection and put the thing into the modem and to the phone and all this. Now you can be on the phone in the house and be using the internet. It wasn't one or the other. And then when Wi-Fi came along, I was terrified.
Oh yeah.
I was like, Wi-Fi? Do you remember how like the connections used to just always be free? Not like free as in like you didn't have to pay money, but like people that purchased Wi-Fi, like they wouldn't lock their connection so you could just like log into their Wi-Fi.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did that for a
Because
very long time.
me too, because I just thought that like that's what was happening at our apartment. I thought we were just all using Netscape 81.
And slowing down somebody's.
Right. And then it was a community effort.
And
We
they're
were
like,
just
no, that's
all
the
doing
one
that.
guy in 3A that has Wi-Fi. And you're
Right.
stealing
And
it.
so, but I didn't think of it like that. I just like, I don't know. I was carefree and careless.
Yeah. What a time for the internet.
Total.
Yeah, me and my high school friends loved AOL IM.
I loved that.
We would always be on IM. And me and my bestie in college, we would get into the Yahoo chat rooms. And this is like when they started creating the webcam plugin. Like you would have to buy a webcam and plug it into your laptop and attach it to the top of your laptop. And also buy a microphone and plug that in.
Oh boy.
And so me and my friend would go in to the chat rooms, and like if it was like a 40 and up, we would sing like the top Billboard top hits for like that generation. And just be singing for the people in the chat rooms and stuff. It was so stupid. But we used to love doing like just foolish stuff like that. Just jumping on chat rooms and like being like, what up, y'all? What are y'all doing?
Oh my God. I was too scared to do chat rooms.
Chat rooms is like, whoa, what a scary place.
Yeah. What a scary time. Like you could just literally be anything.
You could be anyone.
Like,
and people be like ASL, which was like age, sex, location.
Oh my God. I haven't heard that acronym.
Oh, the internet. When catfishing was believable. Well, Adam, are you ready?
Well, Danielle. I'm not, but I think
to
maybe.
talk about normalizing open relationships. Listen.
I'm listening, please.
What do you even consider an open relationship?
If I think of open relationship, it's like two people who are in a consensual relationship have this agreement. And I think that with a lot of them, there are like different rules or parameters that they work within of like what's acceptable in that relationship. I think it's always mostly focused like on sexual expeditions outside of the relationship. And I say expeditions not lightly.
Not just sexual, though. It could be a lot more than sexual.
What do you think?
An open relationship to me can mean a lot of things, but in the basics of it, it's like you and your partner are together, but the door is open.
Mm-hmm.
They can bring someone in. You can bring someone in. You may be just dating this person. You may be just having sex with them. You may be just chit-chatting with them and growing with them emotionally, but it's separate in the sense of like you and your partner aren't dating that person. Your partner's dating someone else. You're dating someone else. Or your partner's dating someone else and you're just dating your partner, but you're still open and able to bring other people in. It's not like a free-for-all, but it is you do have the ability to date while you're dating your primary partner.
Right.
And I think that like open relationships and polyamory are similar but different.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, if you, like, do you feel like one leads to the other?
I don't know, because the word itself, polyamory, is already telling you there's many loves.
Mm-hmm.
And from the ones that I've experienced, and I say experience meaning like maybe people that I follow on social media and stuff who are in polyamorous relationships and stuff, what it seems like to me is that there's the ability for love in multiple people.
Uh-huh.
Like and not every relationship is the same. Like you may not even love that partner in the same way that you love the other partner.
Right.
But you love them both enough to where you need to be with the both of them.
Uh-huh. That sounds like being codependent in a frat house.
It does, right? Like I
Yes.
often, like I'm very much open to the idea of it after having been in several different relationships in my life, especially the last one that I was in. This was with a partner who was open to open relationships even before we were together.
Uh-huh.
And just so happened to end up in a committed relationship with me and didn't have the desire to be open. anymore.
Then do you think maybe that like says something more about maybe they, I don't know. I guess every relationship is different. One, I'm going to go right off the bat and go, I'm like, don't knock anybody who's in one. If it works for them, then it works for them. And
Right.
then, and they're happy with that. Then like, that's all I really care about is that like, that you would be happy in the situation that you find yourself in. But I often think of like these, like when I see on TikTok, I'm like, I'm in a polycule. And I'm like, okay,
Ew,
goodbye.
what?
Yeah, so some people call them like polycules. Obviously, it's like somebody on TikTok who's like, I live in a house, and basically they live in like an adult community inside a 3-bedroom apartment. And it's like 10 people who are all in a relationship together. And I'm like, this feels like you have unaddressed childhood trauma.
Right. I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel like with some of the ones that I've seen on like social media, it feels a little bit to me that like this group of people have found companionship in each other, which I think is good.
It is good. I don't know. Also, it gives the space to not put so much pressure on one person.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting, and also like how you just said earlier that it's also you are relieving, trying to find all of everything you're looking for to one person.
All the things you want in one person.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never been the believer of because you know how it is when people fall in love and they be like, oh my God, my best friend and my everything. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I don't believe your romantic partner, the person you choose to spend your life with, needs to be all of those things. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Honestly. It's not that I don't believe the people when they say it, but I just think that is just a dangerous land to make your partner your everything.
Yes. And you know what I will say? So like obviously there are some moments where I would rather connect with one of my really good friends about something. I don't know, but it's like when I think of like relationship, like who am I romantically involved with? There's just like that's just a different category to me. And I don't consider like, oh, I'd want to be in a relationship with this friend of mine because they can help me with this certain, like in these certain situations. And right now I'm only speaking specifically like emotionally.
Yeah, I think for me, the intrigue is that I get very tired of just the one person I'm seeing, even if they are amazing and wonderful and I love spending time with them. I just get irritated by like way too much quality time. I know that sounds horrible.
No, it doesn't. Because like I also, well, like sometimes I joke around with some of my friends differently than I would joke around with my husband. And like sometimes I want to joke around in a different way and like laugh and like enjoy it that way. It's just, I think that's normal and I think that's healthy.
I do too. And I think that's one of the quote unquote healthy parts of an open relationship is that you have those outlets that are different. It's not the same. You know, it's just something about it that does intrigue me and does make me feel like, oh, I don't know, I could be open to that. But I've also, in dating and doing so seriously, I could see how, I don't know, maybe I don't see how I'm able to expend all of those same types of energies to different folks. But maybe that's the case. It's not like you're dating the same way, the same person. You need to probably adjust your way that you show up in each relationship. Maybe. I just don't know. I'm like, how do you have the energy for that? I barely have the energy for the one partner.
Yeah. When I think of open relationships right away, I think of like people like having sex with other people outside of their own relationship.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything like if that's an agreement that you and your partner have come to. And like, I think sometimes people set boundaries of like, you can only do this and you can't go and do these certain things. Like that stuff is for us. But I think that like when you open the door, I think in my own mind that like that leaves a lot of room for the person that you're in the main relationship with to feel less than, or like to feel like maybe they aren't able to satisfy something that you might be looking for in that relationship. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It can. I guess it can if that's the case of comparison,
Mm-hmm.
which I think a lot of people in open relationships, hopefully in polygamy, they move through that type of trauma. They move through that type of breakdown, and hopefully have a better foundation for what they're doing. But I do think that it is human nature probably to feel the jealousy or to feel that type of comparison. But there was something that in my last relationship that they tried to introduce me to the topic or the I guess the emotion of compersion, which is like you loving when your partner is loved or appreciated, or it brings you
Uh-huh.
joy. Like it's empathic almost. It brings you joy that this person that you love is being received positively or loved or desired.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex-partner had that, to where they loved when I was being loved on. And
Okay.
it was like that, especially in the beginning. But then as they started to be more committed to just me, they did start to feel jealousy and some certain other types of feelings that were outside of the compersion
Mm-hmm.
feeling.
How did you feel about it?
I think because a lot of people think compersion sounds like it's supposed to be the opposite of what jealousy is,
Yeah,
like really thoroughly enjoying your partner being loved. I thought that that was a beautiful concept.
it does sound beautiful.
And it was helping me to understand what an open relationship could be.
Mm-hmm.
And me and that partner have since broken up. And I think sometimes, like, if I ever were to get back with them, or if that's something that could happen, then I would want to make it an open relationship and lean into
Mm-hmm.
that compersion, because, like, that person is very intense for me, but I really enjoyed being loved by them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it needed some dilution.
Uh-huh.
Which would be the open relationship and different outlets for them to express different needs sexually, emotionally, and all that.
Right.
In a perfect world, I think an open relationship would work for me. Not
Mm-hmm.
having to be fully, but then that's me being like, oh, I don't have to be fully committed. But I don't know if that's what that means. I think you are fully committed still in the open relationship, right?
Yes. I mean, I think that I can think of people I know who have been in open relationships that like they were fully committed to that person. You know, if I'm thinking of the ones that I know, I don't think that they're together now, but like I think that it forced them to be really honest about how they were feeling about certain things, to have really uncomfortable conversations. So the ones that I can think of that they seemed really healthy, to be honest, because they were talking and going through a lot of different things and being really honest.
Yeah.
You know?
It does. I mean, no matter how you slice it, it needs polyamory, openly, all of it needs honesty. It needs complete, I think even more so than if it was monogamous.
Oh yeah, I think so, because I think that there's like a lot of things to factor in of like well, I mean, if you're sleeping with other people, to like make sure that you're on the same page of like how are you protecting yourself and making sure that like everybody's staying healthy in that situation. And you have to be honest about what you're doing and what your expectations are, or why your reasoning for wanting to be in an open relationship would be. So yes, I think that those people are having really more intense conversations.
For sure. And it's a maturity level that needs to also exist within that, because it's like are you in an open relationship where you and your partner are talking about your other partnerships, or is that just off the table?
Mm-hmm.
And then what if you're in an open relationship and your partner has a partner, but you don't?
Right. Also, I don't think that it's like, I mean, like you could be in an open relationship and it's just like every day you're just like sleeping with somebody else. Like, I don't think it's like that
Yeah,
either.
right. And then like,
I think that there are some.
and then you might be in an open relationship with your partner, but that person that you are dating, are
Right.
they now in an open relationship too?
Yeah.
Like, are they allowed to date other people? Or what if you're their only person?
Right. Yeah, like, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, it's like, because I've never been in one. So there's a lot of like,
Would you ever do it?
no, I don't think so. I think that there's like, I think like full, like open. No, I don't think so. I don't think that like
I
I
would
have
do
the
it.
capacity to like focus on that many things and that many moving parts.
Right. I think if it depends. It would have to be definitely something I curate, in a sense of like, I'm not sure if it's gonna be even workable for all the people that I involve.
Yes, there's so many moving parts, lack of a better term.
Because then I'm like, just date at that point. Just be dating.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing. It's like, well,
I just heard open parts. Shut up.
I'm so glad. I'm like, okay, well, that didn't work. But no, it hit finally. Yeah, I think the thing is that like,
Case by case basis, man.
yes, because when I think of like sexual things, I think that it's really, I love to be able to do that with my partner.
Yeah.
And I think that, I'm not dead, so I will see like attractive people, but like it's just something that like I think it's sexy to save that for someone else. I think that, who knows what'll happen like down the road or if like, maybe we would explore something, whatever, but like I don't see that happening. I don't think I can focus on it. Not with ADHD. Are you kidding?
Yeah. I don't know. It is quite the undertaking because it is tough to be in just a singular relationship. Tough in the sense of like, you're not your own priority anymore. And there's so many,
Hmm.
other parts that you have to consider someone else too. So having to throw in yet another person or persons, and there's levels to each relationship. There's time spent. There's all this. There's money to be spent. There's trips. There's things. In a perfect world, it seems so doable and so fun. Like you're just absolutely freely dating. But then in another, it's like the relationship part adds in responsibilities that make it just a little bit more sticky.
Yeah. So, I mean, it does feel a little bit like just dating. Like it's
Dating,
being
but
able
the
to have that.
stakes are high because we're together.
Right. That's kind of like having your cake and eating it too, I feel.
I
Like
think
it's a
it's
little bit
like
like that.
it's having your cake and somebody else's cake, and then also deciding I want brownies and cupcakes and
Right.
cookies. But then I'm gonna want a little milk over here. But wait, I'm lactose intolerant. But also, do I like sweets? Maybe I want fruit instead. Like it's
Right.
giving a lot of decisions. But monogamy, I don't know, friend. Monogamy seems crazy to me too.
I mean, it is crazy. I think that's why that there's like in relationships, there's like moments where like, people change and experiences change, but like, I think that there's give in every sort of kind of partnership or relationship. And it's like, you could be going through something or like there needs to be some excitement or like whatever. So
Mhm.
I can see like that being helpful. But I think when I'm thinking of open relationships, I think of people who like, it feels like they don't want to stop dating, but they want to still feel that like commitment of a partner.
Yeah.
But they don't want to give up this other part of like the fun and the excitement of like the dating of it all.
The idea of like soul connections and
Hmm.
things that feel like you can't live without them.
Hmm.
I think sometimes we end up like messing things up going through life thinking that just because you feel a certain type of feeling about a person that this is your person, as
Yeah.
opposed to like this is someone that you should just be enjoying in general. And we be like, oh, that's my love, that's the love of my life, my best friend, my everything. And it's like, well, maybe that was just someone you should be enjoying.
Yes.
This could possibly
Yeah.
be someone else's actual soulmate, but you are connected.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. And when you have them open, it's like, oh, I want to explore all of those things,
Yeah, and it's almost like the grass is always greener
and I'm
sometimes.
just gonna
That like,
keep going to different grass.
right, because it might be greener, which does sound good. Green grass does sound nice.
Right.
And I think sometimes when people think of like, I want to be in a monogamous relationship, that a lot of times they put a lot of pressure on themselves for this to be everything. And they will panic that like, maybe I'm not getting this emotionally from this person, or maybe like, this isn't the best sex I've ever had. And I think that can scare somebody, like the thought of that, of like, oh, it must be just so boring doing the same thing all of the time. So I just don't want to do that. But I think that, like, if you're honest with yourself and you can be honest, like, with the people you're dating or the people you're in an open relationship with or the people you're in a committed relationship with about, like, what you're wanting and what you're expecting and where you are emotionally, I think that's what is going to save, like, any sort of relationship, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's a lot to it. Every time like I ponder it, I'm like, I don't know. I do think I could do it. I don't know anybody that personally, at least I don't know if they are or not. But like I said, I know people that I follow on the internet who are in these open relationships, and I can only see what I see. I don't know all the inner workings of it. But one that I'm thinking of in particular, this person has a primary partner who they do everything with, and that is the love of their life. But they have also another love of their life who they also consider, and this is a queer polyamorous situation
Mm-hmm.
where, these are two different trans people who are primary, and then the trans woman has another trans woman who she also feels that connection to, and that's like
Mm-hmm.
her other life partner. I don't know if there's more people
Yeah.
involved, but I know that those are like two of the primary relationships that circle around this one trans woman. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I wonder if her girlfriend also has someone else, because it does seem like her primary relationship is like the one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that.
I don't know if I could
I
ever.
don't.
I don't know. I just don't understand if I could. I can't make more than one person the one.
Yeah. And I think also, like, we just did an episode on coming clean. It feels like in those open relationships that you're constantly having to come clean. It's so much cleaning of like, I want to do like, do you have to say that I want to go do this with this person? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah, like
so
what if
much
like
like,
you and I were together and I was like, oh, Adam, like I really want to go to Australia, but I know you don't really be down for it. So I'm gonna take my other girlfriend and do this thing that's gonna bond us even strong. You know what I don't know, but that's jealousy. That's like a basic level.
yeah, it is
And maybe we
jealousy.
we think too basic for these things, because from my experience, the people that are in these open relationships or in these relationships that are unconventional are usually a lot more communicative and healed.
Completely.
It's not just like, oh, everybody's just having a good fun free for all time. There's
Yes.
just a lot more shadow work
Yeah.
involved in that. And I honestly don't think it could work without it.
Yeah, I think it requires a lot of honesty of like, I'm missing this or I need this in addition to. And I think that like, not every open relationship is the same. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
No, not everyone is the same. Every relationship is not the same.
right. So it's really hard to like have these broad strokes. Because I mean, like in theory, right? Like if I'm not feeling great about something, sometimes I just don't want to talk to my husband about it. And I'll
Mm.
go and I'll talk to one of my friends about it. And like I'll be miserable at home and I'll go out and have like so much fun with this other person. So I
Which could
mean,
be
like,
an open relationship if you let
right, kind of, right?
it. Yeah. So I'm like, they exist even in
Right.
monogamy, because we have so
Completely.
much connection to other people and we get other things from other people. I don't know.
And I think that like, with JP, my husband, he knows that like I think the world of him and I think he's, the best and I love that he's my husband, but there are moments where it's like, yeah, like if I go and talk to one of my friends, I'm going to banter and joke around and I'm getting something out of them that like maybe I wouldn't be able to get exactly that out of him. And he
Yeah.
knows that and he loves that I'm able to do that. And I come back and I feel like so refreshed and, I feel better.
But would you even be able to say that? Like, let's say y'all were going to have a conversation about having an open relationship in this marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to be honest with him about why you would want it?
I think that like in my mind, when you're with somebody like romantically and you're in a partnership with them, like, we're married. So like we share everything. Like we share our expenses. We have a dog together. Like it's just like a different level of commitment we have to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But like, emotionally or like whatever, like if I need to like have just like different energy around me with like friend wise, like I'll do that. But I think that there's like a certain level that like I save for my romantic relationship. So that like that is like something that's like special between us. And I think that that's what makes our relationship different to me than my other relationships with my close friends who like know everything about me and love and are there for me. And I think that like I have an open communication with my husband. I know we do. And we talk even when I don't want to. And I'm like, please stop. I don't know. It feels really special because it's between us. It's our thing. And that's why I don't know. I think there's some things that like maybe like I can get out of other friendships or relationships like that I have with like other people. But like I hold this one relationship like in higher regard. There's just more things that we have like together and that like are just between us.
Right. And see, I don't have a marriage. I've never been married. I don't know like how it could feel any different to be that committed to someone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering like if I wanted to have an open relationship after having committed to my marriage,
Mm-hmm.
is that a doable thing? Or is the partner going to be like, oh, well, you just don't want to be married to me?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that like, because listen, I think I don't ever want to stop. This isn't the end, right? Like being married. I think that like it's the beginning of like having this chance to like grow with someone. Because I know people are like, we grew apart. Well, I mean, okay. Yes, that absolutely happens. But like, I want to continue growing.
Right.
But I'm not in control of my partner. If they grow or not, I'm in control of myself. So I hope that we grow together. And I think that like, if we continue to have that open conversation about like, what do we feel? Where are we? Like, who fucking knows down the line,
Exactly.
right? But like, I think it's just continually being honest.
Not only are emotions and all that involved, but also like my bodily fluids. So
yeah,
don't be bringing me home no things.
Don't bring me foreign fluids.
Please. Like that's another stressful part of it. It's stressful when you're dating and you're sleeping with people and you never know what they're doing on the other side. But like in a relationship that's open, there's just so many different ways to exchange bodily fluids. And so it's like,
yes,
I think about that a lot too, because it's one of the major parts of being sexually open and active.
Yeah. Another thing is like, I don't want a lot, like everybody knowing my business too.
Well, who's going to know it?
Well, I think like if you're in an open relationship and you're bringing in other partners and stuff, like, especially if you have like this one committed partner and you have people who maybe are sort of a little bit on the outside of that, like one committed relationship, it's not hard to imagine that some of those people kind of are in and out or maybe in for a shorter amount of time and then gone. And
yeah, I don't know the inner workings, but I feel like you wouldn't be bringing whatever relationship things you're dealing with in one thing to the next relationship too. Like that's probably, I wouldn't know for sure. But if in my open relationship, I don't know if I would do that. Like any frustrations that I have with my partner, I don't think I would be complaining about them to my other partner.
No, what I think I'm trying to say is that like, let's say you're in an open relationship and like you're committed to one person, but like if you're open to bringing other people in, you're going to be dating other people. And so
that's real. Because you don't just all of a sudden bring someone in and that's like, I'm in that relationship.
Right. And who cares what other people say? It really doesn't like matter. But like you could be connecting with somebody and vibing with them on a date or something, and then it just kind of fizzles out. But you've maybe told them something like in semi-confidence, and then like, it's over and we all talk to our friends and stuff and like, oh, I dated this person and like this and that. And it was just, I don't know. I guess that could happen with friendships too. I'm probably just overthinking it, but yeah, I don't know. Danielle, I don't know. It's a complicated thing, and I'm not in the position to like speak from experience.
I know. Neither of us are, to be honest, but I am open for the conversation. I think, man, you know what? If you were to normalize something from open relationships, what do you think you would normalize?
I think that like when it comes to open relationships, you have to normalize the open communication. And I think that goes for any relationship, but especially an open one, because there's more people like in the middle of it. There's your health could be at risk, your emotional well-being, and it's just keeping a clear communication of I'm feeling this, I'm feeling a lack of this. So I think like we really should normalize that open communication in your open relationship.
Yes.
Danielle, what do you think?
I don't know. I kind of think that it's up to whoever's in these relationships to make sure that both partners or whoever the partners are inside of it just don't feel like that they're missing something or that they are not fulfilling something. You know what I mean? Like maybe that is the case in certain regards, but I don't think it's healthy to have your partner feel less than.
Right. No, I don't think so either.
And that's the reason why I'm opening up the relationship. I think it needs to be a different reason as to why you're opening up your relationship than like, oh, I'm looking for something more fulfilling than you.
Yes. I mean, do you consider like an open relationship if somebody's like, let's bring in a third for like a night? I'm not thinking that that's like open relationship. I feel like that's
just a hookup.
Yeah, that's just wearing a pineapple on
vacation.
That's
just getting that. Yeah, they're just showing me that you down with the pineapples.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, I think like stuff
but
like
that.
But
I think you are open, and your relationship is open.
Yeah.
To the sense of like, oh, we're open to try some stuff, but we're not dating another person.
Yes, I think that's it. I think I can wrap my mind around that a little bit.
Yeah.
Clearer.
A little bit clearer.
A little bit clearer.
From the openings of my relationship, I must say.
Yeah. Wow.
Stimulating. I think there's still so much that I like want to explore within this conversation. I might even bring this one to the group chat to my girls to talk a little bit more about it because I want to see what other people are thinking as far as like what it means to open it up and how it manifests. You know, because I think there's just so many moving parts.
Yeah, I think there's so many moving parts, and I think it also means something else to everybody else. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it means something different to everyone. Literally, like, whatever makes you happy, just do what makes you happy.
Yeah, even if it's more than just your partner.
Completely. Whatever makes you happy. I'm just crying blood. I'm going, it's fine. I'm fine.
Everything's fine.
So Danielle, I feel like let's move on.
Yes.
Let's close up our open relationship talk and let's get right into my favorite part of the show, which is keep it or curb it. So for you first timers, what a way to get in. What a way to get in
here, you know?
Yes. So Keep It or Curb It is a segment where we're going to take a look at new social trends. We're going to decide whether they're worth keeping with a K or curbing with a C. Okay? Because, bitch, we're spelling here.
We spell it today.
So we're going to do things a little differently, Danielle.
Ooh, I like you switching it up. You opening the relationship up.
Yes, I am. And it's about my honest and open communication. So we're going to do like rapid fire trends that we're going to keep or curb. Okay. Are you ready?
Nobody talked to Pew is what you're trying to tell me?
We actually couldn't get a hold of Pew. So we're actually doing rapid fire instead of pew, pew, pew.
Okay. Just fire it up.
All right. The first thing, our first rapid fire. Danielle, are we keeping or curbing showing up to a dinner party with your own meal and ingredients because you are on a restrictive diet?
Been there, done that. I'm just not coming. Curb.
Yeah. I think curb, but also listen, if you're showing up with your own ranch, power to you, Keith.
You know, if you're showing up, you're definitely showing up with like slivers of almond and like chlorophyll tablets. It's definitely not anything worth showing up with. Stop that.
No, and also wait, I can tell you that like when I was competing and I needed to like watch what I was eating, there's always a way around of getting something that like will work within what you're doing. I think if you're bringing your own stuff, you're being a little obnoxioso, which I've done. I've brought my own yogurts to a dinner, so whatever. I'm curbing myself.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam, are we keeping or curbing planning a night out with your friends, but telling them not to bring their boo?
I think we can keep that. Yeah, I think it's good that like you stay connected to your like friends, that you don't need to be like have your person there all the time. I think that's like a little intense.
It's giving my man, and I get it, girl. I'm proud of you, but like, please, it's just a
right. Exactly. I'm proud of you, but I'm actually annoyed and ashamed.
Very much.
All right, Danielle. Okay, are we keeping or curbing if you are somebody's house guest, always strip the bed, even if you tell them not to worry about it?
You know what? I think that is very thoughtful. Let's keep that.
I say keep it. It's nice, but also when I have a guest, I usually tell them not, like, don't worry about it ahead of time so they don't feel like they need to like rip things apart. So I love when you do it. I'm not requiring it, and I'm not going to give you a bad review at my house.
Oh yeah. Also because you seem like very particular about how you even do the stuff. So
well, the thing is, I'll probably redo it, and not because I don't trust whomever did it.
You're going to remake the bed and restrip it?
Maybe. Who knows? We'll never know.
Because you ain't doing it at my house.
Actually, no, stripping. And like, I actually really love when I'll have a friend that stays over and they'll strip the bed and they'll also like put their towels like in a pile. And I'm like, that's really thoughtful.
Do it. Do how you would do it at Airbnb. Thank you. That's very nice.
Yes. Keep.
Adam, are we going to keep or curb using COVID, good old coronavirus, as an excuse to get out of pretty much anything?
I think unless you have it, you can stop using that as an excuse, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've used it before, but you know,
I mean, I've used it too.
I think now might be the time to stop using it.
Yeah, I think unless you are currently positive.
Yeah, don't play around with that.
Yeah.
Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it.
Don't play with it. As Danielle has told me to not do. And I
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Danielle, I really did love this episode. I feel like I was confused. I'm still confused, but I feel less confused.
I'm glad. I think, as a married man, open relationships probably give you sweats.
I was sweating for sure, yes.
But it is a thing worth talking about because it's real out here. And I think a lot more people, especially this new generation, honey, these Gen Zers, the monogamies and all that probably doesn't appeal to them that much anymore. And people are definitely looking at ways to like rage against the machine, against tradition. So open relationships, polyamory, it's here to stay.
I mean, whatever, go for it.
Listen, just be upfront about all of it, especially your bodily fluids. Don't be spreading them out.
Yes, don't be spreading them out. I'm just imagining fluids on a table, and I'm so sorry that I said that out loud.
Stop spreading your fluids out across the table.
Yeah, please, for once.
Yes.
For once.
For once. And just also know that not every relationship is the same or lame. Everything has like, everything is case by case.
Completely. Just always be honest. It will save you every single time.
Yes. Open your mouth in open relationships.
Yes.
Your throat chakras.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. Cleanse your chakras.
Yes.
So Danielle, that's actually our time for today. And
wow.
I know.
I'm going to open my podcast relationship up and get another partner and make another episode.
I'm sweating. Again. I'm going, oh, okay. You're being honest. I'm going,
Sweats
okay.
directly into the mic.
Well, here's the thing, everybody. We love hearing from you as usual. Thank you for popping into both of our DMs. We have loved all of your suggestions. They've become episodes. Please continue to hop and pop into the DMs. We love it.
Please hop and pop into mine.
Please hop and pop into my DMs. And to do that, you can find me on social media. My handles on Instagram are @AdamRip. And on Twitter, you can find me @AdamRipon. And make sure that you subscribe, rate, everything.
Mm-hmm.
We love it. We're looking for those 5 stars. Danielle, where can they find you?
Yes, you can find me in my ZMs ready for you to pop and, what'd you say? To pop and
Wait, what did I say?
Hop and pop in there.
Yeah.
On IG, it's @TheDanielleYoung, and on Twitter, it's @RapsoDanny. Please hop and pop, because we need to know what other things we should be normalizing. Suggest away. But
yeah, we love it.
Until then, guys, make sure that you're normalizing spreading.
Yeah, actually, you know what, Danielle? Finish your sentence. I want you to finish your sentence, because I know you thought about it for a second. You went, I'm going to go for it. So go ahead.
It grossed me out, but we'll see you next time on Normalize This. And until then, you better spread those bodily fluids across the table.
Yeah.
And also put a pineapple just on the edge.
Right.
So we know exactly what you're here for.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for finishing your sentence, Danielle.
Pineapples and spreading fluids, honey.
Oh, God.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, listeners, we want to hear from you. Make sure you're following @MakeSpringHill on all platforms for weekly show updates.